Hi, it's Eleanor, and today I'll be sharing with you my August TBR. At the moment I'm currently reading two books which I mentioned in my last video, and these are A Cultural History of Sexuality in the Classical World and The Girl Who Saved the King of Sweden by Jonas Jonasson, and you can find out more about them in my last video. The other books I want to read this month, there are 4 of them, and 2 of them are non-fiction and 2 of them are fiction. The 2 non-fiction are Behind the Mask, which is a biography of Vita Sackville-West by Matthew Dennison, and also The Ancient Guide to Modern Life by Natalie Haynes. Vita Sackville-West was one of those in the Bloomsbury set along with Virginia Woolf, and they actually had an affair which inspired her book Orlando. I've read one of Vita Sackville-West's books already, All Passion Spent, which I loved, and I think she's a very interesting person. She and her husband Harold Nickerson bought Sissinghurst Castle in Kent, and they created these beautiful gardens which I visited a few weeks back, and I just think her life is so intriguing, and her as a person as well, so it should be really good to find out more about her. The Ancient Guide to Modern Life is, as it suggests, the Ancient Guide to Modern Life really. It's about kind of how classics relates to modern day now and the parallels between then and now, and this is a part of classics which I'm really interested in, because I feel like everywhere you look there is some element of classics still with us today, and so it should be really interesting to see how Natalie Haynes chooses to portray it and what she specifically picks out, and I'm probably going to learn a lot from this. The 2 fiction books which I'm hoping to read this month are The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George and The Hours by Michael Cunningham. The premise of this book is that this man, he owns a bookshop on the Seine in Paris, and he uses his books to cure everyone and kind of help them along their way, but he can't seem to help himself. He is then inspired by someone moving in next door to him to take his floating bookshop and kind of discover himself, I think. It looks to be a really lovely and sweet book, and it's about bookshops and books, which is just, you know, going to be so lovely to read and such a pleasure to read, and I can't wait to read it. The Hours is basically, it's 3 stories, I think. It's to do with Virginia Woolf. I don't know whether you can tell that there's a theme going on here with the Bloomsbury set, but it follows Mrs. Dalloway, it follows Virginia Woolf, and it follows someone in the present, and I think he weaves these 3 stories together. This was made into a film, I think it's a BBC film, and which I've heard really good things about, and so I really want to watch it, but I feel like I should read the book first. So it should be really interesting and help fuel my Virginia Woolf obsession. So those are my 6 books which I'm hoping to read in August. I might read more, I might read less. It's not a definitive list, just want to kind of see how it goes. Let me know what you're hoping to read this month, and if you've read or heard or want to read any of the books that I've mentioned. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.